Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 10th of October 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Thursday's afternoon session where we're going to have a quick look at the markets, a view of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to rest, and we can continue. Okay, also, just before we jump into the charts, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel here, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research tab, which you can also check out on a daily basis, and I believe you can find a lot of useful stuff here for yourselves, guys. So feel free to visit us on jfdbank.com and click on the tab here, research, and it'll lead you to our research page. So, okay, now let's jump into the charts. Now, the first one I want to touch on here, and I haven't looked at this one for quite a while, and that's WTI Oil. Now, last time I've talked about this one, what I was saying that we were trading slightly below this downside resistance line taken from the high of the 16th of September, but we were waiting for a clear push above the not only above this downside line, but also above this 53.33 zone. We did get a break here. We did get a 4-hour close, but as you can see, it quickly then reversed back to the downside and drifted lower. So in a way, we never got a daily close. So of course, don't get me wrong, we did have a few breaks here and there, but overall, we were maintained within this little range here, roughly between the 52 zone and the 53.33 area. So we're going to continue observing this one, and the way we're going to play this one out right now is we're going to wait for a daily close, because as we can see, the 4-hour candles do not do the trick here. So we will wait for a daily close, and if we get a close above this 53.33-35 territory, then yep, we will consider a possible move higher here, potentially aiming for the 54.73 territory initially. We'll keep an eye on the 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart as well, but a slightly better target for us could be around the 56.85 zone, which previously acted as a good area of resistance, so it could play the role again, the same role. So, but again, like I said, before we could examine such a move higher, we would like to see a daily close above the 53.35 territory. So keep your eyes on this one. In case this suddenly reverses back down here and drops below the 52 zone, and let's say closes below the 52 area on a daily chart, then, well, I mean, this could lead towards further declines. And to be honest, we do have a very strong area of support here near the 50.8 and 63 zone, which, as you can see, previously from the kind of the beginning of June, it continued to hold the commodity from moving lower. But if this gets violated, if this level gets violated, then we are aiming for the levels last seen in January. So in around the middle of January. So for now, of course, keep your eyes on this area. The main thing for the downside, to keep an eye on this 52 zone. For now, it seems that the commodity is willing to make a move up again. That said, we had these moves higher recently, but all of them failed to continue pushing north. So that's why, guys, for now we're gonna keep an eye on the daily chart. And this is a 4-hour chart, by the way, but also keep your eyes on a daily chart, because if we see a daily close above this 53.35, then yep, we will aim for higher levels, slightly higher levels, of course. Now, jumping into another instrument here very quickly, and that's Ripple. I talked about this one this week, and initially in the beginning of this week, it managed to move nicely to the upside, managed to test the downside resistance line. This downside resistance line, by the way, has been running here from around the 22nd of June. So we had another nice pierce through this downside line yesterday. And also we had the kind of brief visit above the 0.2873 territory, the one that I was talking about previously. So, but as you can see, the bears quickly pushed the price back down here, and it's currently sliding lower. It's moving towards in the direction of this 0.2630 territory, which previously acted as a good area of resistance. Now it could take the role of support, which also, and by the time probably it could travel all the way here, it could coincide with this upside support line taken from the low of the 24th of September. So in a way, guys, how we're going to play this one is, for now, we're going to keep our cool, and we're going to keep an eye on this upside support line. If it gets broken, then yep, this is where we will start considering lower levels, because still, in a way, it could travel lower, but could test the 0.2425 territory and then rebound and push back to the upside. So that's why we're going to keep it short and simple. For now, all eyes are on this 200 EMA initially on the 4-hour chart, then the 0.2630. If all this area kind of holds, then we could see another push to the upside. The only thing is still that for us to get comfortable with higher levels in the near term, ideally we would like to see a break, a nice good break, and ideally maybe a close of the above this downside resistance line and a close above the 0.2873. Of course, it would be great to see a daily close. We will start considering higher levels if we see a 4-hour close, but again, similar story like with the WTI oil. Ideally we would like to see a daily close here above the 0.2873 and then aim for higher levels. USD so US dollar against the Swedish krona. So I talked about this one this morning in my Trader's Espresso, and this is what I was talking about basically. Now, we did get some good data from Sweden, good inflation figures from Sweden, so they came out better than expected. And this is the reaction that we got. So, and we had a nice break of this steep upside support line, and also we had a drop below the 9.8740 zone. I talked about this level this morning, and this is what I was saying. If we get a drop below this, then yep, the next target for us to consider could be around the 9.8265 zone, so which we had a perfect hit. We did overshoot it a little bit, but that's fine. So now the rate is kind of retracing a little bit. In a way, if it continues to hold below the 9.8740, then we could see something like this happening, and another potential slide lower. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, it could be quite a good move here to the downside. Further declines are possible, because looking at this daily chart, we can see that we are quite kind of on overbought here, and we have been at levels here right now. If I go back into history here a little bit here, guys, so that's where we have been at levels that we saw in 2002, so in around April and May 2002. So again looking at this weekly chart, even you can see how well this has traveled, and in a way a bit of correction could be possible. So in a way, if we consider look at this this weekly chart, and we consider this possible slide kind of coming up in the next couple of weeks, then we could in a way start targeting something right here, basically maybe somewhere around the 9.60s area. But again, for now, that's too early to talk about that. This is a very tentative line as well, don't get me wrong, so that's why I don't put a lot of focus on it. So we rather go step by step on this one, and but for now it seems that there is a good possibility to see a further decline, especially if it drops again below the 9.8265 zone. And then the target for us will be around the 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart. Now, it might be around somewhere around the 9.76 territory. We'll have a look at that later. I'll come back to this pair again just to see how it's performing. But to be honest, like I said, for now, it's looking quite interesting in terms of the downside. But first, we need to see if this pair will struggle to push back above the 9.8740. If it does, then we could see, like I said, another round of selling. If this pair suddenly travels back above the 9.92 territory around here, and by the way, we can get rid of this this upside line here, then we may consider a possible move back up here towards the 9.9645 zone. But if that gets broken, then of course it opens the path towards the psychological 10 area. So for now, keep your eyes on some of these levels. AUDJPY, very quick mentioning of this one. So I talked about this one previously, and what I was saying, that to keep an eye on this downside resistance line taken from the high of the 13th of September. The pair has managed to move higher today, managed to break again this this downside line, but got held near the 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart. So you can see now the rate has declined again, and it's currently balancing below this downside line again. So in order for us to get comfortable with higher levels, and as you can see by the highlighted area here, this is the move that we need basically, because if this travels higher and let's say breaks above the 200 EMA, yes, we will aim for the 73.17 area approximately around here. But if it gets a hold up around here and then retraces back down, we could be having ourselves something of a range here. So that's why, guys, for now we'll keep it short and simple. Yes, in a way, there is a good chance maybe for this one to push higher if it travels above its 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart. Then, yep, we will aim for the 73.17. But if it struggles to overcome this, or let's say it fails to close above this level here, then, yep, we could see another round of selling, and this could, in a way, eventually confirm a nice range here. So that's why, guys, for now, keep this idea in the back of your heads. From the very short-term perspective, we'll keep an eye on this downside line. It seems that the pair is willing to break this, but again, until we see that clear move above the 200 EMA, we cannot really talk about any upside yet. So keep your eyes on this one, guys. In terms of the downside, we'll take a very conservative approach and wait for a drop below the 71.71 zone, and only then target lower areas. Jumping into USDJPY, another interesting one, and I talked about this one recently and this week, and basically I was talking about this level right here, the 107.62. We need to see a clear close above this before we could examine higher levels, and by higher levels I mean only the 108.48 territory around here, which previously held the rate down here on the 18th of September and also on the 1st of October. So in a way, we'll only target this level, because also similarly, like with the AUDJPY, we could be getting ourselves something like a range here overall. So for now, that's what we're going to do. We're just going to keep it short and simple, and initially we'll aim for the 107.90 level, but if it fails to withhold, then yep, we will aim for this this key area of resistance near the 108.48. In terms of the downside, in a way, what you could do here is now we could shift our little potential area of support here towards this line here, towards the 107.33. Now, if we see a drop below this, then in a way it increases the chances for a another slide lower. But only up until this 106.57 area, because again, the same story as with the upside, we could be seeing getting ourselves here a nice wide range. So for now, from the very short-term perspective, a drop below the 107.33 could in a way open the path towards slightly lower levels, but only up until the 106.57, somewhere around here, and then we'll take it from there, see what it wants to do after. But again, that's the game plan for now. GBPUSD. So this one had a nice move higher a little bit today. I was talking about this one this morning, and basically what I was saying that we need, in order for us to get comfortable with the further declines, we would like to see a drop below the 1.22 zone. So we initially had a nice rebound this morning from it. It traveled higher but failed to push above the 1.2275 zone. So this is also working out nicely. So in a way, for us to consider slightly higher levels, ideally we would like to see a push above the 1.2275 zone and then aim for slightly higher levels. Up until then, we're just going to continue monitoring this one, just continue observing this price action here inside this kind of in between these two levels, and wait for a clear break out of it. So either we'll wait for a break above the 1.2275 or a drop below the 1.22 level. So keep your eyes on this one. Euro USD having a wonderful pops here this morning, and this is what I was talking about this morning. So we're still hanging around here below the psychological 110 zone. So after the video, we had a nice pop here to the upside, and you can see that we managed to break this 1.1024 zone. So for this is what I kept talking about for the whole week. Basically, we needed to see a nice good break above this 1.1024 before examining higher levels. Now, looking at this current technical picture here, we will keep a close eye on this one, and especially on today's daily chart, especially on the daily candle, because if it stays above this, then yes, there is a good chance for this one to continue further up here towards the 1.1075 or even the 1.1110 zone. So these are our main targets for now, but and that's of course if it continues to trade above the 1.1024. If it, let's say, closes somewhere a little bit lower below the 1.1024 but still above this downside line and above the 200 EMA on the 4-hour chart, now again, we could still have that little opportunity for the bulls to kind of jump in here on this one tomorrow and maybe push this one higher. But let's say in the event if this suddenly retraces back down, drops below this downside line and drops below the 1.10 territory, then well, I mean, this could in a way drift back down here towards the 1.0943 or 40 area, or even further down. But again, guys, for now, we are seeing some positive signs here on EURUSD. It's currently trading above its downside line, above this medium-term downside line, above this 200 EMA on the 4-hour chart, and it's near this 1.1024 territory. It's kind of currently kind of hugging it. So again, keep your eyes on the daily close, daily candle today. Let's see where it's going to end its day, but be very careful here. With this one, if let's say this suddenly travels back below this downside line and drops below the 1.10 zone, now this is not looking good for euro dollar. We probably it needs, or should I say, the bulls need more convincing to do in order to kind of aim for higher levels. So for now, yes, we are in a kind of somewhat in a positive territory, but again, we still have the full U.S. session to go through. So let's see how that's gonna play out. Don't get me wrong, we did get the U.S. inflation numbers today, and those did come out as a bit of a disappointment. But again, let's see how this is gonna play out. Maybe we could see this one continuing further north, but then again, it's like I said, it's currently kind of trading, just flirting with the 200 EMA, flirting with this 1.1024 zone. Let's see where and how the daily candle is going to end up being today. So and keep your eyes on that one. If it travels back below this downside line and drops below the 1.10 territory, then well, probably, like I said, not everything is still good in the bull block here on the Euro USD. Okay, guys, I really hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching it till the end. If you want to join me tomorrow morning, as always, at my Traders Espresso, that's 6 o'clock GMT time. For those who are still trading, be very careful today still. Yep, keep your eyes on the price action, have your stop losses in place, and yep, after you're finished with the trading, have a nice evening, guys. And for those who are finished with today's trading, yep, also have a wonderful evening. I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.